Hello and welcome to the webinar on how big brands use stories to increase engagement and drive conversions. I am Sweta Saraman from Vajro, and I'll be a moderator for this session. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a few things to help you get the most out of this webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and we will email you the recorded webinar shortly after the session. You can also rewatch our past webinars by going to vajro.com/webinars. And we would love to hear from you. So feel free to use the chat box in case you have any questions. I'm now very happy to introduce Isidora, who's our best guest speaker. Hi, Isidora.
Hi, thank you. Thank you all for being here.
She's the marketing go-to person at Storify Me. She has about 10 years experience in helping startups thrive. She's currently helping brands grow, sharing her knowledge on how to acquire and retain more users through a power of stories. So we are very glad to have you here with us, Isidora.
Very glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm now handing this over to you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for being here. And let me just share my screen and we can start. It looks like I'm having some issues with this. Give me a second. In the meantime, I am planning to present you with presentation telling you more about how to use stories for your Shopify stores and how can you benefit like big brands are benefiting from it. Perfect. Okay, so how e-com stores with stories can convert up to 2.5 times better than regular e-com stores do. So first of all, I know that a lot of you maybe know how everyone today is using stories. You have big brands like even Facebook introduced stories, YouTube, Netflix is using stories for their trailers. Google has Google Web Stories. Even Messenger has stories in their Messenger ads. So basically, a lot of people are using stories and engaging with it because it is the most popular format right now. And brands are using stories because it's the format their users love. So more than 2.5 billion people are watching stories every single day. Now, how big brands engage their audience using stories? First, they are using immersive full screen display format. They're using rich media experiences, including photos, videos, interactive experiences, anything really. And in the end, as I mentioned, you have interactive experience for higher engagement. You can ask questions, you can push or nudge your users to give you their feedback, to engage with your story and thus with your brand. So as you can see, Washington Post is even using stories. One of the biggest publishers in the world started using this format because people just don't want to read long content anymore. They don't have time for it. It's just boring for them in a way. So even big publishers like Spiegel or Washington Post are using stories to give them quick, compelling information. And then if someone is interested in it, they will tap the story and read more. You can see Pretty Little Thing, that is a big e-com shop, is using stories as well in their in-app. You can see here, you can add stories in any format you like. And then when someone is, for example, interested in the spring collection, they can see the story on their mobile screen. Netflix is using stories in their trailers. because it's just the best way to present any new TV show or to give trailer in a most engaging format. As you can see, I mean, maybe some of you heard of Farfetch. Farfetch is one of the biggest multi-brand online stores. Their app has hundreds and hundreds of daily visits and a lot of sales. They started using stories as a way to engage their audience and promote their collections or collections of the brands they're promoting. And now you can see how one of our clients, who is a Shopify Plus client, is using stories. Pepper Mayo is using stories in a website. So they embedded their stories on their websites. As you can see, they have several categories. They're changing it, optimizing all the time. And they're really doing it great. Now, let me tell you more about stories. So how you can sell more and sell faster with stories. First, there are several options. First, you can embed stories in your app. You can embed stories on your website. You can use stories, create a great, dynamic, personalized landing page out of a story, and you can then use it in your marketing campaigns. So, for example, this is how story can look like in your native app or on your website. So you can choose how the stories, or this is a widget, story player, call it as you wish, can look like. It can be a square, it can be a circle, it can be anywhere within your app or on your website. This is just an example, so you don't have categories or anything like that, but this is just to show you how this can be used. Some of the benefits are increased engagement, shorter buyer's journey, because you can ask people to buy directly from stories. For example, if you have, I don't know, items on sale or items in your new collection that you like to promote. So it's really, the sky is the limit here. With shorter buyer's journey, you'll have better conversion rates, and the best things for maybe your marketing teams is that once you add a widget within your app or on your website, you can change stories, promotions, anything, the name of the widget even, without any additional code. So how to really stay relevant and engage your audience is, as I said, adding widgets, adding new promotions, adding sales, spring collections, new items, anything. You can change the name, you can change any item you'd like to promote. Other than that, you can obviously boost your SEO with the power of Google Web Stories. And now, for your app, you can always embed stories within your app, but you can embed the same story on your website as well. So you don't have to add any additional time into or resources into creating stories for your website. You can just choose a story on your website to be indexable by Google, and you can add it to your website. This way, Google will prefer your content and your products over some other stores' products. Now, as we already know, average person's attention span is around 8 seconds. So people don't really have time, nor how to say this. Let's say they don't have time to read long content, to browse for items, to browse for a product. You have to be there, you have to place your product in front of them, and you have to do it in a format that will entice them and grab their attention. So how to level up your campaigns with familiar format on very unexpected placement. Everyone is expecting stories to be somewhere on Instagram or on Facebook, and they know where to expect it. Right now, they know who they want to follow, and they know which stories they'd like to see. Now, the only way to grab someone's attention is to give them a format they don't expect in a placement. They really don't expect to see an ad or a story. So first of all, you can create dynamic landing pages out of your stories. Those can be personalized, dynamic. You can change, you can add any really customer attribute, the product they're interested in, the product they wanted to buy, but for some reason bounced. You can really leverage the story and add even buttons or swipe ups, anything really. And you can even create custom story flows for your customers based on any attributes you have. So by using dynamic landing pages, you can get closer to your KPIs, and you can even A/B test them later on if you'd like to see which one will convert better. As I mentioned before, you can have, for example, a product that is meant for females or a product that is meant for males, and then you can create a story flow based on customers' attributes. You can basically create the same story and just change several things in there. For example, here it's color and some other background photo, and then you can test it out. Now, other than that, you can use your stories as ads. So instead of serving audience with expected content, present them with the experience they will actually engage with. As you can see here, you can create an ad, post it, use it as an ad, or use it on your social media, even as a social media management post. And then you can create landing pages later on that will be personalized and create the whole user journey out of stories. Or you can take the same story and share it via URL, via QR code, or anything really, anyhow, really. But in your case, it would be definitely URL. You can place it in your SMS or in your email and send it to your customers. No one is really expecting personalized landing page. They all are used to receiving personalized SMSs or personalized emails, but no one expects a personalized landing page down the road to the conversion path. Now, how to increase customer LTV with the power of stories. Let's say that you have a customer who is interested in your product, or a returning customer who already purchased the product from you. You can ask them to leave a review or to rate your product, and then by allowing them to do that with a single tap, you will get more reviews and more ratings, and the more ratings and reviews your store has, it will be easier for you to get more sales. You can even, I didn't mention it here, but you can even ask them to share a product, or in this case, to share a story with their peers, and they can do that via link or anyhow they want. So really, you can do whatever you want with your stories and get more product reviews, or even get some referrals out of your customers. Now, as I mentioned, you can create one story, and then the distribution is almost limitless. You can embed it on your in-app. You can embed it on your website. You can share it via URL in your marketing campaigns, on your social media. You can ask your customers or your prospects to share that with your with their peers, and you can use it anyhow you like. That's the real power of this. Now, this is how, for example, a story can look like. It can be personalized. Here you can have customers name, any attribute, name, last name, full name. It can be anything you really like. You can upload it via CSV. You can upload it in numerous ways. I don't want to bore you with that right now. You can add engaging elements and interactive elements such as countdown. Then you have engaging elements like CTA, or even you can ask them a question. You can ask open-ended questions. Anything you can really do in stories you are aware of, and all of us are engaging with daily. You can do it here in the stories you create for your brand, for your company. The best thing of it all, it can be integrated within minutes, especially Vajro clients can integrate stories in their app within seconds, really. So it can be integrated via APA, and it's super easy to be created. So now let me tell you what through the years of doing this, we realized is the winning scenario and how to create your story, not to be only good, but to be really great. First, it has to be relevant. As you can see now, for example, if any of your customers, let's say you're selling, obviously here, pets apparel for pets. So someone might have an older dog, or someone might have a small dog, big dog. It can be like, there are limitless, numerous breeds. So in this example, you can see how this is for older dogs, and this is for some younger dogs, and especially for some owners that can be interested in this type of apparel for their dogs. So no matter what you do, your content has to be relevant to your audience. Then it has to be personalized. You are getting closer to your customers by personalizing any message you're sending to them. The next one, it has to be engaging. In order for a customer to really to remember a product or your brand, even in your case, your products, you want them to engage with it. You can add countdowns, you can add slides, or ask for a feedback, rating, anything. Now, in the end of it all, we're all doing this for conversions. So what you want to do is you'd like to have a personalized, relevant message sent to the right audience in the right time. You want them to engage with it, and once they engaged with it, you want them to buy it. I spoke before about shortening buyer's journey. So in stories, you can do that by adding product tags, or even add to carts, or any really CTA button you'd like. Now, how to get insights and measure the success. It is really important for everyone, especially marketeers, really to measure the success of their campaigns. Now, having in mind that story can be used as a conversion optimization tool within your app, or even as a content for your marketing campaigns, you would need to know everything that is happening in every story you create. For example, you usually have to take care of high-level data, so how every single story is performing, how all of your stories are performing together, so overall, and then you have to dig deeper and actually realize and try to analyze, in fact, how each engaging element is performing, and how each user or visitor in this case is performing within each story and each engaging element. So you can see here like everything that can be tracked or should be tracked in every single story you create. Now to bring this to an end, with stories, brands can really observe up to 42% increased customer engagement that is in their app and as a part of their marketing campaigns. They saw 8% improved conversion rate, 39% longer time spent on site, that is on website and within an app, and 3% improved click-through rates on marketing campaigns. So that is all from me right now. And I am ready for any questions any of you might have.
So we have a question. So what are some creative ways you have seen a brand use stories to sell and engage?
I'm sorry, big brands, I lost you there too?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
Can you just repeat the question? I lost you for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah. What are some creative ways you have seen a brand use stories to sell and engage? Some creative ways that you've seen brands use.
Sure. So the most creative way, really, the brands are using stories is to implement an idea of how some product can be worn, or how some product can fit for example, if it is a furniture, how it can really fit the various rooms. They almost always use this tactic to create a great looking story, to announce some collection or anything that their brand will do. Then they will show several products and how that product can look like on a person or within a room, or it really depends on the product you're selling. And then they ask for a review, they try to engage the audience, and then they ask them to buy it. That's one of the ways. Some other way I really like how stories are being used, and it can be even relevant to in-apps. I'm sorry, Shopify ads. So basically, whenever someone purchases a product, they're, instead of, I don't know, sharing all of that various items and papers and pamphlets and catalogs, they're sharing a simple QR code. And then when someone scans the code, they can be brought back within an app to, I don't know, with a 10% coupon code or with a similar product they can buy. While they're still engaged with the product, they have a product in their hands and they're back in the app again. So that's awesome to see.
That's interesting. I have another question for you. What are the mistakes that you often see when it comes to people making stories?
That's a very good question. I haven't seen a lot of brands doing this, but I would say they're creating stories for themselves, for their brand, and not their audience. They're trying to engage either their teams or, I don't know, themselves, but they're not trying to engage the audience and to promote, to give them the content they need, they want to see. They're just trying to promote the product no matter what.
Right. They can't be wrong.
Users won't engage with it. They can feel it in 2022.
Right. We have a question from Cheryl. She asks, does she work with other companies to work with them to grow their business? Do you work with other companies to work with them to grow their business? I think yes, right?
Does Storify Me works with other companies to grow their business?
Right.
Yes, we work with a lot of brands and a lot of Shopify stores and a lot of e-com clients in general. And we are helping them. I mean, they're using our product, and sometimes they do need advice on how we think the story will look better or what they should do. So yeah, sure, we're helping whenever we can.
Right.
We understand that this is, it's not a new format. but it is a kind of new format in these placements. So usually big brands used to create custom solutions and custom stories, and that's super expensive and not really scalable, and you need developers all the time. It's just not the best way, especially not for some smaller or starting brands. So we're really trying to help, and whenever we can.
Do our audience have any more questions?
I guess I was going too fast.
It was the right speed, I would say.
Thank you.
It was good, informative. I have another question for you. I'm not sure
Sure.
if that's a right question to ask. Uh, do you do you have a number for what kind of ROI people can expect, return on investment, say, in case they are paying for stories?
Well, this really depends on how they're using stories, I would say, and they can expect much bigger conversion rate, and they, as you can see here, like you can see improved conversion rate up to 8% only in app from stories. But I would say that's not always the case. Sometimes it can be much higher or much lower. Of course, this is an average number. But if you are creating stories in order to engage and entice your audience, you can really get close to this number pretty fast.
Okay. We haven't. Yeah.
Go on.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's okay.
Well, I was just about to read another question. So we have an anonymous attendee asking any tips for beginners.
Any tips for beginners? First, plan what you'd like to promote and how you're going to use stories. So in my opinion, the best way to use stories within your app is to plan what you want your customers to see first. So that should be the first thing they see in your app. So if you have, for example, I don't know, items on sale, or if you have some very exciting items, other people were interested in, I would push that first, because in that way they will see something that's exciting, something they might like first time they land in your app, and they will be more engaged with your brand, and there are bigger chances are that someone's gonna buy in that moment from your brand, and they're gonna definitely remember your brand and come back.
We have another question from Emily. She asks, on Instagram, how many stories is too many a day, would you say?
On Instagram, well, these are not really stories for Instagram. They can be used as Instagram stories as well, but I mean, it really depends on your brand and what your audience is used to. I don't think there is a number that's, I don't know, higher than that it's bad, or lower than that it's good. I don't think there's a number for that. As long as your content is fresh, original, and people are engaging with it, you can track that. You can see after how many stories people get bored or are not interested anymore, I would I would say, something like that. But it's important to know that stories can be used on other platforms and within your app, most importantly, not only on Instagram.
That's right. Does anyone have any more questions? So I guess that's the end of our session. I guess we don't have any more questions.
Thank you for having me, and thanks to anyone and everyone who joined. It was a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you all for joining with us today. Special thanks to Isidora for this amazing session. If you are new to our webinars, you should know that we do monthly webinars, and we are hoping to see you again. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on about events like this, and more content as well. So I wish you all a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.